This video might actually contain my most important investment advice for as long as I can remember, because today we're going to be talking about not only future commander investments that are right around the corner, but also a massive change coming to Rise of Kingdoms that has been confirmed by the developers, which has massive implications for the future of the open field meta. And what's even crazier is I talked about it on the channel like 6 months ago and everyone already forgot about it. So today I'm going to make sure your account stays as competitive as possible over the next couple of months. But first, what's going on, guys? Cheers. Now, as you guys know, I am a sponsored partnered creator with Rise of Kingdoms, so if you want more content, consider subscribing down below. But let's jump right in here, because Achilles just landed in the game, or at least he just landed in my server and in most servers. I know he was in some servers a couple of days ago, but we finally have Achilles here alongside Hector, of course, for the first strike event. I am very excited to get my hands on both of these commanders, even though I really don't know how much I'm gonna actually use Hector. I'll save that for another video, because I do have some gripes with him specifically, and that might warrant his own video. Now, before we jump into the most important investment advice, let's take a look at the most recent thing that was shared over on the official Rise of Kingdoms social media accounts. That is, of course, an estimation of the upcoming commander release schedule. But today I'm going to share with you guys exactly when these new commanders are coming, at least based on historical data. Of course, we don't actually know until they come into the game, but these hints give us almost the exact dates that we're going to be seeing the next generation cavalry and infantry commanders. And can I just say, I love the transparency here, not only with this, but also with the next thing we're going to talk about in this video that's going to have huge implications for your account. Rise of Kingdoms just coming out and saying when these really important updates are landing in the game is so important and fantastic for the actual players, so that way we can plan what we want to do with our investments in the game. So anyway, of course, a lot of you may have seen this already. I actually shared it as a community post over on my YouTube channel. If you missed that, you're probably not subscribed, so double check down below. But upcoming commander release schedule: next gen cavalry is coming late November 2025, and then next generation infantry is coming after that in January of 2026. And now that we have the months confirmed for these two commander releases, we know pretty much exactly when these commanders are going to drop, because as you guys know, I have been keeping track of the commander releases in Rise of Kingdoms all the way back since day one, and the release dates these are all based on the Wheel of Fortune commander, okay, and they're based on my time zone, and some of the older ones are my best guess, but it's pretty accurate, okay. And we have been able to come to a conclusion when it comes to the trend and how long we actually see between commander releases, okay. And what we can see here is, of course, obviously Hector and Achilles landing in the game today. I put the date as tomorrow because technically they're just here for first strike. In fact, you might even be watching this on the day that is listed here. But one thing that I've seen a lot of people complain about, and this has happened every year for the past like 2 years in a row, maybe even longer than that, a lot of people are saying, oh my god, they're releasing commanders so fast. And it's like, it's just funny because I've been around for so long that we see the same thing every single year, and it's like super predictable, and we know what's going to happen, and yet we still see it every time, right? So if we go back and look at the commander release cycle all the way through the end of 2019 all the way up till Shajar coming out, okay, what we will see is that with a couple of exceptions, commanders are typically released between 56 days and 84 days apart. Now, sometimes they have longer release windows, right? Like between Henry and Boudica Prime and then Jan Zizka and Joan of Arc Prime. That was a pretty big gap right there. There's some inconsistencies with Gorgo and Liu Che, because of course Liu Che came into the game before Gorgo because he was part of the anniversary event. I think that was the 5th year anniversary. But for the most part, on average, commanders come out 70 days apart, right? Like if you do the math, that is like the most standard release window for these commanders. And when we talk about these commanders and the generations of commanders, we're talking about Mightiest Governor and Wheel of Fortune commanders, right? We are not talking about event commanders or KVK commanders or gold key commanders, civilization commanders, gathering commanders, right? Like as you'll notice here, we don't have like Pepin on this list, right? I need to actually throw him in here, but nobody really cares about gathering commanders, right? But from a player's perspective, it does feel like we're getting a lot of commanders lately, because we just got Matthias and Alfonso, and then we got right before that the season 2 ranged commanders, and then right after that we got the new gathering commanders, and then now we have Achilles and Hector as KVK commanders, and then they're already talking about the next cavalry commanders, and it's like, oh my god, they're releasing commanders so fast. And it's like, actually the generation release cycle is not changing at all. It's just they're putting other random commanders in between, and most of those commanders you can ignore, right? Like the season 2 ranged you can ignore. Matthias, like the leadership MG commander, you could ignore him. Alfonso is only worth it if you're obviously a ranged player, and these KVK commanders we'll talk about in this video. But okay, you get the point. The commander release window is pretty much the same. They just have these extra things thrown in, and really this all started with the anniversary with Liu Che, and then the following year we saw Ragnar Prime come in as the first ever like KVK commander, right? And so we knew that this would happen this year. I predicted this months ago. I've been talking about this on the channel. You guys already knew this. You already knew to be prepared for this. I already told you guys to save your sculptures, and if you appreciate that heads up, drop a thumbs up down below. But anyway, let's talk about this. All right, so we know that the next cavalry are coming late November. They confirmed this on social media. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, remember what I said. The number of days in between generation releases is typically 56, 70, or 84, right? That's usually like the sweet spot here. All right, 56 days after the release of Matthias and Afonso would put us at November 18th 2025. Is that late November? Technically, I would argue that's mid-November, but it's technically past the halfway point, so you could call it late November. What if we did 70 days, right? Okay, we are now officially in December. So, okay, well, that technically wouldn't be late November, right? I mean, like, objectively, it's not. So realistically, the most likely release date, and this is, again, the Wheel of Fortune date for whoever the next cavalry is, would be November 18th. Now, let me give you let me just preface that really quick, okay? Technically, what the developers could argue is that if the Mightiest Governor event for the next cavalry garrison starts on the final Sunday of November, right? So November 30th would be the first day of that Mightiest Governor. Technically, we could still see the December 2nd release date, right, for these commanders. So technically it would be like, oh, the MGE started for this commander at the last day of November. So technically it's late November, but you literally won't be able to get them until December. So we've narrowed it down to these two dates, right? I originally predicted December 2nd for these commanders, for the Wheel of Fortune commander. But if we want to be technically correct, okay, and if we assume that they are being 100% transparent with their social media posts, technically the only date that actually fits with what they said would be November 18th, okay? And by the way, that is 3 weeks away, so that is coming up super fast. Now, worst case scenario, they're 5 weeks away, right? But technically it should be 3 weeks away if, again, this social media post is to be believed, right? And not to repeat myself, but really the distinction here is when they say release, do they mean the start of the Mightiest Governor event, or do they mean the ability to actually have the commander on your account? Does that make sense? If they mean like recruiting the commander, we will be able to recruit the commander in late November, okay, then we know for certain that we're looking at a November 18th release date. Okay, now from there we know that the next generation infantry is going to be in January of 2026. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the same thing here. All right, let's assume that it's a 56-day release window, and again, this is 56 days from Matthias and Afonso, right? Because Achilles and Hector are not part of the generation releases. They're just KVK commanders that just happen to be coming out right now. That would be 56 days. What's 56 days from here? Okay, well, let's go ahead and take a look here. That would be January 13th, right in the middle of January. All right, well, what if we did a 70-day release cycle? That would be the end of January. Okay, so the next generation infantry is either coming on January 13th or on January 27th. It's one of those two dates. But if we see that you technically can't recruit the next generation cavalry until December 1st or 2nd, then what that would mean is the release date for the next generation infantry is definitely January 27th, right? Because it's not going to be less than 56 days. That would be just insane, right? But if it's 70 days, then that puts it into February, which it's not going to be. All right, so just a little bit of a recap here so we know the exact dates. Okay, the cavalry are probably coming November 18th, but I guess technically the latest we could see them would be December 2nd if there's some confusion on the wording on the social media post. And if the cavalry commanders come out on November 18th, then the infantry are either coming on January 13th or on January 27th. If we don't get the cavalry commanders until December 2nd, then we know for sure that the release date for infantry is the 27th of January, right? If it's a late cavalry release, then you know the exact release date for infantry. Okay, so now that we've narrowed it down to literally 2 dates for both of these commander releases, we know how soon we're getting these new commanders, okay? And you need to be saving for these. But that's not the most important tip in this video. In fact, the most important tip in this video has to do with Achilles. And let me be very clear, Achilles is extremely powerful in Rise of massive, I mean, what are we talking about, right? It's a circular 5 target combo damage AoE. He's going to be absolutely cracked behind our boy Arthur. Okay, we know it, everyone knows it. The probability that he is a must-have commander for cavalry is very, very high. I mean, in order for the upcoming cav release in 3 weeks to be better than him, so many things would have to be true. It would actually be kind of insane if that was the case. Like, they would also have to be AoE, by the way. We're not going to see a single target damage cav be better than Achilles in the next 3 weeks. It's just not going to happen. They would have to power creep the rest of his kit to a level that we've never seen before. It's not impossible, but it's not going to happen. But here's the trap with Achilles. Okay, there is one big trap with Achilles, and it's actually not exclusive to Achilles. It's more so cavalry. Okay, and this will apply also to archers and infantry, but cavalry I think are the ones that are going to be affected by this the soonest because of Achilles coming into the game, and that has to do with formations. Okay, with the release of Achilles, a lot of players are going to start swapping over their second set of armaments to the Delta formation if they're running 2 cavalry. Right now I think a lot of people running 2 calves have 1 Delta and they have 1 wedge formation, just because there just hasn't been great support for calves lately when it comes to combo damage. But now that we're going to be able to run 2 marches all with combo damage, right, because Hector is also combo damage, need I remind you, he's got a whole freaking novella here for his skills. All right, a lot of you are going to be very, very tempted to convert your wedge formation to Delta. Okay, and this is where I am going to give you a massive warning. Unless you're going into a fight within the next couple of weeks, I would not do that. And it's not because it's bad. Okay, let me be very clear. Running 2 Delta or running 2 combo formations for cavalry in the future is the future, right? Like, that is the direction cav is going. It's abundantly clear with the release of Achilles and Hector. Okay, but it still could be a massive mistake to convert a bunch of your armaments to Delta right now. And in fact, this was already confirmed by Rise of Kingdoms like 6 months ago. Let's go over it, folks. Back on April 21st, Rise of Kingdoms posted a face-to-face with the developers over on the official Discord that had some groundbreaking information that a lot of people have already forgotten, and that was at the very bottom, the last question. Somebody said, going forward, how often will new formations be added? Whenever I start focusing on a new formation, I worry that a new one will come out right after. The answer back then was from December of 2025 and May of 2026, we plan on releasing 3 new formations focused on smite damage, skill damage, and combo attack damage. After that, we plan on adding new formations for these 3 damage types every 18 months. So back in April, the developers confirmed that we will be getting a new skill damage formation, a new combo damage formation, and a new smite damage formation. So what does that mean? Well, if you are a cavalry player and you're getting your hands on Achilles, you're getting your hands on Hector, or you're getting your hands on the next cav release coming in 3 to 5 weeks, you are going to be extremely tempted to use all of your conversion stones. And by the way, they are very hard to come by. Okay, I've got 17. That sounds like a lot, but that is literally only 1.5 legendary armaments. Okay, it is 10 conversion stones to convert a legendary inscription armament from one formation to another. It is extremely expensive to convert very powerful armaments with good inscriptions. Okay, so what's going to happen is a lot of cavalry players who don't watch this video, you're going to convert your second set of armaments to Delta. You're going to spend all of your conversion stones to do so, and then as early as December, we could see a new formation land in the game that is focused on combo damage. And let me just be honest with you guys. Okay, what do you think the odds are that the next combo damage formation is going to be more powerful than the existing combo damage formation? Let's be real here, there's a pretty good chance. Now, that's not guaranteed. This is all speculation. And in fact, one thing that they could do is make a combo damage formation specifically for Rally Garrison. And then it's a formation that the whales will have to invest in if they want to continue to be Rally Garrison meta. And then all the field fighters continue to use Delta. That's totally possible. But it's equally possible that the next combo damage formation could straight up be, if the user's troop is on the map, you deal 15% more combo damage, right? And then right out of the gate, of course it'll depend on the inscriptions, but out of the gates it will just be objectively better than Delta. Okay, and again, this is not exclusive to cavalry. They've already announced we're getting a new skill damage formation and we're getting a new smite damage formation as well. Okay, but again, with the release release of Achilles and with the upcoming release of cavalry in 3 to 5 weeks, which are basically guaranteed to be combo damage, everyone is going to be looking at running 2 combo sets of armaments. And I'm warning you right now, unless you have an upcoming war that you must absolutely convert for, I would hold off. Yes, that means using suboptimal armaments and formations for what will probably be the meta, which is 2 combo damage, right? But the most valuable tool that you have in Rise of Kingdoms is thinking ahead. Okay, and we already know, this is not even speculation, we know a new combo damage formation is coming pretty soon. Now if I were a betting man, I would say that the first of these formations to land is probably going to be a skill damage formation. Why? Because skill damage has the oldest of the 3, right? Wedge formation was one of the first formations in the entire game. It's really old, it's outdated compared to pincer and compared to delta formation, so this is the one that needs to be updated the soonest. It's the one that is the most neglected, forgot about, it's been in the game the longest. So for me, I suspect that we would be getting a skill damage formation before a combo damage formation. So if you've already converted to delta for both of your armies, then at least you can kind of rest easy knowing that most likely the December release won't be the combo damage formation, but who knows, right? However, in the same vein as that and using the same logic there, I would say that if combo damage isn't the first formation to get an upgrade, it'll probably be the second one, right? Because I mean, that's just the release order of these formations. We had wedge formation was one of the first formations, and then of course we had delta come out before pincer formation, right? And when pincer came out, everyone was like, oh my god, pincer is so busted, it's so strong, it's so broken, right? And I think you could say the same for delta, but if you really compared them point for point, I would say that pincer as a formation is probably a little bit stronger than delta formation. Obviously that depends on the commanders that you pair it with. But let's go back to the dates that they revealed here. Okay, we've got December, January, February, March, April, and May. So that's a 6-month release window. So if we get the first new formation in December, then that means the next formation is probably going to be in, I don't know, 2 months from there, 3 months from there. So that would be February or March, right? And then the third and final formation would come 2 or 3 months after that. So February, March, April, right? We could either get it in April or May. So, and again, I think the new combo formation is going to be front loaded there, either the first or the second, probably the second. So if I were a betting man, I would say the next combo formation comes in February or March. Honestly, the only reason that I could think that they would put the combo damage formation as the last of the 3 that they release all the way in May would be if the upcoming calves are so broken that they don't need an upgraded formation before the other troop types, right? Like that's the only thing that I could think of in terms of like game balance. But just to keep this simple, right, I'm going to share with you guys what I'm thinking about for my own account. Okay, I'm thinking that we're going to be seeing a new combo damage formation by March of 2026. That's how I'm thinking about this, right? So yeah, that is, well, we're at the end of October here already, so that's November, December, January, February, and then sometime in March. So between 4 and 5 months from now, I think we'll see a new combo formation. And again, you're going to need a lot of conversion stones in order to take advantage of that. All right, so my strategy is I have 4 or 5 months to save up conversion stones, save up transmutation stones, and save up everything that I can to really take advantage of whatever the next formation is going to be for combo. Now again, there could be a wrench thrown in the middle there where if we get the next skill damage first, well then it's like, okay, well man, like maybe I'm going to be forced to just convert that first because Emperor Qin is like the best commander in the game right now. Now the next cavalry commander could be better than him. I don't think Achilles is, by the way. I don't think Achilles is better than Emperor Qin, but the upcoming cav could be, right? Like who knows? It is a non-0% chance, right? If we're being honest with ourselves, like cavalry could get their version of Emperor Qin in 3 to 5 weeks. So there's a lot of variables to consider here, but my point is I don't want players jumping the gun and spending all their conversion stones to get another delta formation when we're going to be getting new formations so soon, whether you need it for your archers or for your calves. And look, it could be the case that the upcoming formations are just for rally garrison, in which case then you just go ahead and convert to whatever you need to, right? But it's better to play it safe than to play it sorry. And you know, is the next formation going to be so good that delta is just obsolete? Probably not, right? Like delta is already super good, so if you've already done that, it's probably fine. But I don't want people to be blindsided by this, and that's the point of this whole video. Is there's a good chance power creep is right around the corner, and they've already announced it. They've already been transparent about this. So if you want to play it safe and you want to play it smart, smart, I would hold off on it converting, right? Or what you could do is just do some like super bare bones conversions for stuff that's like super cheap, right? Like this conversion is 3 stones. Maybe I would consider doing that, right? I don't know if I could maybe piece together a half decent delta set to use on my second army in the meantime. That's what I would start to look at doing, right? Start saving some like half decent delta armaments just so you could slap together a second delta one in the meantime. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to issue this massive warning to you guys. Do not spend all of your conversion stones, and do not go maxing Achilles when we already know the next cav and the next infantry are right around the corner. We literally have narrowed it down to 2 different dates. So look at your account and make the best decision possible for you at this moment in time with that knowledge moving forward. And if you've been into the end of the video, consider dropping a thumbs up on it. It really helps out the channel a ton. Subscribe if you're new here, and thank you so much for watching. This has been Omniarch. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.